The temperature has been dropping for days. The sky is the color of stone. The ground is hard beneath your feet and the wind cuts through everything you are wearing. You have no heating, no insulation, no stored food beyond what your group managed to gather before the cold came. No map of what is ahead. No guarantee that any of this ends. This is the reality your ancestors faced every single year for hundreds of thousands of years, not as a survival challenge or an adventure, as ordinary life. And the fact that you exist right now, reading this, breathing, thinking, means that every single one of them made it through, every one, across countless winters, in conditions that would kill most modern humans within days. How? The answer is not one thing. It is a layered system of physical adaptation, behavioral intelligence, social strategy, and something that researchers are only beginning to fully understand: the extraordinary cognitive flexibility of the human mind under conditions of extreme scarcity. Start with the body, because before any tool, before any strategy, before any fire, your ancestors had a body that was already doing things you have never had to consciously think about. When temperatures drop, your body does not simply get cold. It prioritizes. Blood flow is redirected away from the extremities, your fingers, your toes, your nose, and concentrated around your core organs, your heart, your lungs, your brain. This is not a malfunction. It is a ruthlessly efficient triage system that sacrifices peripheral circulation to protect the machinery most essential for survival. Researcher Wouter van Marken-Lichtenbelt at Maastricht University has studied human cold adaptation extensively and found that people regularly exposed to cold develop significantly greater metabolic responses to low temperatures. Their bodies produce more heat, burn more brown adipose tissue, and maintain core temperature more efficiently than people who live in climate-controlled environments. Your ancestors were cold, almost constantly, for months at a time. And their bodies adapted. But the body alone was never enough. Fire changed everything. The controlled use of fire by early humans is one of the most significant transitions in the entire history of our species. And its primary value was not cooking. As important as that was, its primary value was warmth. Archaeologist Dennis Sangather at Simon Fraser University, studying ancient hearth sites across Europe and the Middle East, has found evidence of fire use by Neanderthals and early modern humans dating back hundreds of thousands of years. But what the archaeological record shows is not just that fire was used. It shows how it was used. Hearths positioned at the entrances to rock shelters, hearths in the centers of sleeping areas, fire maintained through the night, not just lit and abandoned. Your ancestors did not just make fire. They managed it. They understood it. They organized their shelters and their sleep and their social lives around it. And shelter itself was a technology. Long before anyone built a permanent structure, your ancestors understood the physics of insulation in a practical, embodied way, not as an abstract principle, but as lived knowledge accumulated over generations. Rock overhangs that blocked wind, caves that maintained temperatures warmer than the air outside, beds of leaves and animal hides that trapped body heat, the construction of windbreaks from branches, bones, and stone. Anthropologist Clive Gamble at the University of Southampton has argued that the spatial organization of ancient campsites, the deliberate positioning of sleeping areas relative to fire and wind direction, represents sophisticated environmental reasoning that rivals modern architectural thinking in its logic, if not in its materials. Your ancestors were not surviving winter randomly. They were solving it systematically. But physical survival was only part of the challenge. Because winter does not just threaten the body, it threatens the food supply. And the management of food scarcity across the winter months required a form of cognitive planning that researchers now recognize as one of the most distinctly human capacities there is: the ability to think about the future. Psychologist Endel Tulving at the University of Toronto spent decades studying what he called episodic memory, the ability to mentally travel through time, to remember the past and project oneself into the future. Tulving argued that this capacity, unique in its full expression to humans, is what made genuine long-term planning possible. Not just responding to immediate conditions, but thinking ahead, storing food before it was needed, preserving animal fat and dried meat, and plant material against a winter that had not yet arrived, making decisions in autumn about what would be needed in February.
This is extraordinary when you stop to think about it. Your ancestors were making sacrifices in the present, spending energy to preserve food, carrying extra weight, resisting the urge to consume everything immediately, based on a mental model of conditions that did not yet exist. They were living in part in an imagined future, and that imagined future kept them alive. The preservation techniques themselves were varied and sophisticated. Freezing was the obvious one in cold climates, meat cached in snow or buried in frozen ground. But drying was equally important. Meat and fish stripped and hung to lose moisture, preventing bacterial growth, creating concentrated caloric packages that could be carried and consumed over weeks. Fat rendering, boiling animal fat down to a stable, calorically dense form, produced a substance that could sustain a person through days of food scarcity. Bone marrow, extracted and consumed, provided dense fat and nutrients from parts of an animal that predators could not easily access. Nothing was wasted. Every part of the animal had a use, and your ancestors knew those uses in extraordinary detail, not from a cookbook or a survival guide, but from accumulated cultural knowledge transmitted across generations. And then there was the social dimension. Because winter, perhaps more than any other season, is when human sociality becomes a survival technology rather than a luxury. Sharing food in conditions of scarcity is not natural. Every evolutionary pressure pushes toward hoarding, toward protecting your own calories, toward prioritizing yourself and your immediate kin. And yet, the archaeological and ethnographic record of hunter-gatherer groups shows something remarkable. In winter, food sharing intensifies. Meat from a successful hunt is distributed across the entire group, not hoarded by the hunter. Cache locations are shared, not hidden. Warmth, body heat from sleeping in close proximity is pooled, not kept private. Anthropologist Michael Gervin at the University of California, Santa Barbara has studied food sharing across hunter-gatherer societies and found that sharing is not random or purely altruistic. It is a form of reciprocal insurance. You share today because you may need someone else to share tomorrow. You pool resources because unpredictability in hunting success, in foraging outcomes, in the severity of winter itself means that no individual or family can guarantee their own survival alone. The social group in winter was a survival organ as fundamental as the liver or the lung. And at the center of that social group, in the long dark evenings when there was nothing to do but stay warm and wait, was something that researchers are increasingly recognizing as essential to both social cohesion and individual psychological resilience. Storytelling. Anthropologist Polly Wisner at the University of Utah conducted a landmark study comparing the content of daytime and nighttime conversations among the Juhonsi Bushmen of the Kalahari. What she found was striking. Daytime conversations were dominated by practical matters: food, tools, social conflicts. But nighttime conversations, gathered around the fire in the cold and dark, were overwhelmingly dominated by stories. Stories of hunts, stories of ancestors, stories of the spirit world, narratives that carried knowledge about the landscape, about animal behavior, about what worked and what didn't, about who people were and what they owed each other. Winter evenings for your ancestors were not dead time. They were the period when the group's collective knowledge was rehearsed, transmitted, and expanded. When children absorbed the accumulated wisdom of generations. When the social bonds that held a group together were strengthened through shared narrative. The fire kept the body warm. The story kept everything else alive. The temperature has been dropping for days. The sky is the color of stone. The ground is hard beneath your feet, and the wind cuts through everything. You have everything your ancestors had: their body, their fire, their shelter, their stored knowledge, their social bonds, their capacity to imagine a spring that has not yet arrived. And every winter your ancestors survived is inside you right now, not as a memory, but as a body and a mind, shaped by their survival, carrying their solutions forward into a world they never imagined.